This is for any of the side cutter dies, but especially multiple cutter dies like this one. Almost any piece of wood will do. The two bottom screws here, ideally you want something with a big lip, and you want to screw them down most of the way in. Leave them up about 1/8 of an inch maybe. Not a whole lot more than the thickness of the die, so that these bottom ones hold the bottom end of the die down in place. We already pre-drilled these holes for the upper screws, which will keep the cutters up. And you want them pretty far up the hinge, not all the way up next to the design, but not way down here either. And this will just make loading your metal in a whole lot easier. Most of the ones with multiple cutters are already, what I do is prop these open with a sheet of metal and torch the base of the hinge here, and that sort of, I don't know the right word, freezes the right word, but it holds them in this semi-open position. So those are already done more or less to the right amount, but depending on the gauge of metal you're using, you might want to use an extra aid. I like to have the dies be springy enough to hold the strips of metal down. So if I've done my measuring right, yeah. Now these you want higher, stick up higher than, well, you want these, you don't want these all the way down. You want them up because they hold the cutters up. So we'll go ahead and clamp that down. So now there's a picture in Susan Kingsley's book where there's a loading block like this, but in the picture it's shown the wrong way. So if you run across that, ignore that. This is the right way to do it. Now, see, this makes it very easy. You get your it opens the die up, and you've got both your hands more or less free to load the strip of metal in there just right. And another thing it does is since it allows you to open it up all the way, you're not forcing it in there, so you're not scratching your metal. Another advantage. Oh, see, what the hell? See, this one was already too loose. Oh, great. See, that can happen too if you're not careful. If the die is too loose, that's why I like the die to be springy enough to hold the metal down. See, this one was already set up for a little bit thicker metal, and it wasn't holding that strip of metal in there tight. So if that's the situation, you want to be very careful. See, I don't even really need this loading block for this die, just for a demo. That's one reason you want your die to be springy, so that it holds a sheet of metal in there when you're loading it into the press. So, see, I don't even really need this block for this die. But for purposes of demonstration and education, this is what we do. Now these are really, really super helpful for the side cutter dies. A lot of those are very springy, and you do need the extra assistance. You need the force that you have with your hands to open it up and move your metal around very carefully, sometimes very precisely. So that's that.